Good afternoon and welcome to the Ministry Media Masterclass, which is a masterclass on ministry media positioned as a learning opportunity for pastors and ministries where we can impact the world through you. We are live from the Ministry Media Studio where our passion is your message to the world. Let's go. I'm a media coach for pastors and ministries, helping them to get their message to its intended for, build the media channels for that message to get there, and building a community around that. I am passionate about transforming the world through equipping and empowering inspired individuals to create ethical, positive, and true media that enables, edifies, and builds up society, raises up established godly voices, and brings restoration to the world. I do this through one-on-one coaching, providing a media coaching platform, facilitating media challenges, and hosting ministry media retreats. My name is Simon Fune, and this is my masterclass. Today, we're going to look at two different kinds of content and where they fit into your ministry media strategy. If you like what you hear today, want to launch or improve your ministry media platform, learn the latest content creation techniques, build a media team, and increase the impact of your ministry, register for our Ministry Media Challenge. This carefully crafted challenge will provide you with a system, process, and most of all, accountability structures to get your ministry media platform launched in as little as 12 weeks. This is a premium challenge. We will take you from where you are to global influence and impact. So please let me know what are your expectations of this class in the comments below. And while you get those comments out to me, let's get going. I want to say hello to Pastor Jonathan Banda. How many people are with you today, Pastor Jonathan? Nice to see you. And also Hendrik Witness. Thank you so much as well for being here. Today I want to talk about understanding the difference between pillar and filler content. Okay. Let's recap. I always teach this. There's 4 pillars for a successful ministry media platform, and that is content, consistency, community, and collaboration. Obviously, today we're going to focus on the first pillar, which is content. Now, there's 2 different kinds of content. I've never shared this before, and I've had this in my heart for months to share around this concept. Exactly what does this mean? What kind of content can you create? And for me, there's really 2 kinds of content. One is pillar content, and the other one is filler content. I'm going to explain the 2 very, very clearly to you today. I'm going to explain the difference between them and the necessity for both of them. Now, we know that content in this digital age is very, very important because it's a way for you to get visibility. Remember those 3 things that I often talk about. It gives you visibility, which builds credibility, which increases your influence. And you need the influence for you to impact the world that God has called you to do, the way that God has called you to do, and with what God has deposited into you. And so it's important for content for us to place it out there because it's a way for us to filter and dilute all the negativity in the world and for us to actually get that out. So let's look at what we're going to look at today. We're going to talk about the content landscape. What is pillar content? Examples of it, benefits of pillar content, and how to create it exactly. Then what is filler content? Examples of that, pitfalls of filler content, quality over quantity, finding a balance between the 2, measuring your effectiveness of your content, adaptation and evolution, and then we're going to tie it all up and we're going to do Q&A. So get your questions ready, and if you have any thoughts throughout the whole broadcast, please feel free to go and post your thoughts in the comments, especially questions that are very important to us, and it helps us just do these really, really effectively. So let's talk about the content landscape, right? First of all, Content marketing or content ministry is very, very important, because that is a way how you are going to get your message out to whoever it is intended for. And we've taught before on, okay, what are the strategies of exactly where you need to go and how do I plan that out? If you want a good reference, go to the playlist called Ministry Media Masterclasses. If you're part of our exclusive and elite Telegram group, you'll have the playlist link there in the description. And you can go and look at, for instance, the content inspiration toolkit and also the class on reflection. Those two are going to help you just mine out the content that I believe God has deposited in there and just lay it out really, really for your message. The content is the catalyst for the transformation that needs to come from you. And so there's different formats of that. And so it is actually the backbone of your messaging. Without the content going out and being distributed, nobody's going to know about you. They're not going to hear your message, and they're not going to be impacted by you. So it's very important that we actually understand that the content going out is very important. And let's quickly overview. There's really a lot of awesome stuff that you can do regarding content. And so just some ideas are live streams like this, creating pillar content pieces in terms of video. The pillar content that we teach and we create here is actually the pillar or the source for many other content that we also get out. If you want to just get started really simply, I did a series on content and what kind of content to create that's really easy, low cost, and easy to execute. So my passion is obviously just for you to get started, to get launched. And there's 3 lessons. If you look, I don't remember last week's class. I think, let me just quickly have a look. Last week's class was a platform review. So just before that, you'll find a class where we went and we showed you 3 different things. We showed you quote cards or scripture cards, we showed you podcasts, and we showed you live videos. Those are really easy things for you to create. But pillar content, let's define that really quickly. Pillar content is the content that your ministry is standing on. And how do pillars get planted? Remember, there's always going to be a foundation. So you're going to have a keynote or a key or a foundation message that you are known for, right? It could be, for me, it is the 4 pillars of a successful ministry media platform. That is what I built my ministry on, and that's where the basis of where I start and I teach everything, and everything flows out of that. So what is that foundational message for you? It could be a gospel message. It could be missions is the key to transformation in the world. Whatever that is, it's always good to have a foundational message. And then you have pillars, right? So for me, my pillars are media, they are leadership, they are team building, and they are perhaps, what do we call it? Psychology. All right. And psychology is just the way that we think about things. How do I mentally approach new projects? How do I mentally approach engaging and building a team? How do I mentally approach my content, etc., etc.? So those are my kind of pillars that you will always find in my content, right? And so it's important for you to find what are the pillars in your ministry going to be. It could be that you are a dynamic ministry that has 2 big pillars, and those are prophetic and apostolic. And those are the 2 things that drives everything else. It could be missions and community. It could be government and religion, whatever those pillars are. But it's important to know exactly what those pillars are. Pillar content is something that is the foundation, that is the star of everything. It is what you're known for. It is where you provide the most value. I saw a post just a couple of minutes ago in my stream, and it asked this question: if I gave you 50 minutes to speak right now. Can you do it? And that is what this pillar content is about. You see me often speaking about, okay, let's draw out of you the gold and present that to the world. Let's make it communicatable. Let's make it in media formats, in the formats that's different, that's going to be the best. And those are the pillar content. It's the stuff that your ministry stands on. It is what you are known for. It is what you build all your messaging on. And so the characteristics of a pillar content is, for instance, your pillar content is going to be timeless. All right. It's not something that's going to change as markets change or as digital landscapes change. It's not going to change with opinions. It's going to be timeless. For instance, the gospel is timeless. It's never going to change. The love of Jesus, it's never going to change. The character of Jesus, who God is, that's never going to change. So those are pillar messages that's always going to be there, right? And so the characteristics of pillar content, it's timeless. It's what everything else stands on and is built on. Okay, what are the goals of pillar content? The goal of pillar content is to set the foundation and build the rest of your ministry on. John Smith is a content marketing expert. He says pillar content is the cornerstone of your content strategy, providing in-depth information on a core topic. And so pillar content is usually a topic, and it's something that you can build multiple pillars on, right? Multiple pillars on the same subject. And so that is really, really important. So let me give you an example of pillar content. If I already referenced myself, and that is going to be the 4 pillars for a successful ministry media platform. That is going to be my pillar. Another pillar is something that I just want to quickly reference. It is a hint at a future video. It's going to be really fun, and I want you to tell me in the comments, what do you think about this? All right. So something is going to be a process of the process of content ministry, or the effects of content, the process and effects of content in your ministry. And it is an acronym called FEHEROT. FEHEROT. FEHERIOT. And here it is. First, your content and your ministry lays the foundation. Then there is exploration that you do, and obviously your audience does with you. Then there's hesitation. Am I sure about this? The audience is like, I've never heard this before. Let's ask questions, etc. And then there's explanation. That's the 4th one. That is when you properly explain what you're going to, what is this about? And that's where kind of the filler content and you start expanding on your pillars and things really come on. Then there's revelation. The light goes on. People are like, aha, now I understand how this works. Then there's installation. So I take the revelation and I go implement it and I make it happen. Then there's demonstration. Once I've installed it, now it's demo, and now I show the world exactly how this works. And the effect of that at the end is transformation. So that's one of the pillars that I'm working on that's really going to be powerful. Pillar content is something that sets the stage for the performance. Pillars, foundation, pillars, pillar content is what sets the stage for the performance. What performance? The performance of whatever is going to happen next, right? And so I hope that you have a better idea. What is the benefits of pillar content? For you as a ministry, it helps you establish your authority and thought leadership, right? Your credibility and your influence. That's what content gives you. And when you've established authority on in a specific ministry field, on a specific topic, and thought leadership has been established because you have written on the subject quite a bit. You have created multiple videos quite a bit. For me, I have no qualms about claiming or saying that I am one of the world's best and foremost ministry media teachers, coaches, and trainers. Why? Because it's my pillars. It's what I've built for the last 10 years. It's what's inside of me. I can speak on it without preparing anything. All right. And so what it does is pillar content is what people are going to come for, right, when they come and engage with you. It's one of the first things. It's what you put at the top of your website. That is your pillar content, your main message. That's what it's going to be. And so when that happens is you're going to build the rest of your ministry on this. And so the benefits of your pillar content is that is what you get known for, right? That's what makes you famous. Not that we go for that and that there's vanity involved, but that is what you're going to look for. Your pillar content, if you focus on that, is going to give long-term value to your audience that engages with you. It's something that is timeless, like I said before. It's something that people are going to keep on referring back to. If you know the ARC process of leadership and building churches, you'll know they have 4 programs and they have 4 values, right? And those are their pillars. That's what they build on. And so they build ministries around that, they develop leadership around that, and they have their churches operate around that. And that is exactly what it is. Those are pillar content. If you like what you hear today, want to launch or improve your ministry media platform, learn the latest content creation techniques, build a media team, and increase the impact of your ministry, register for our Ministry Media Challenge. This carefully crafted challenge will provide you with a system, process, and most of all, accountability structures to get your ministry media platform launched in as little as 12 weeks. This is a premium challenge. We'll take you from where you are to global influence and impact. Let me pause there and say this. I want to honestly remove any obstacles that there is for you and me to work together. So please reach out, communicate. If you click on the registration form that's on this video and you go and register, there's a couple options there that you can actually look at. There's many various ways that we can engage. Or just reach out to me and tell me what is the challenge that you experience for us to actually work together and for us to impact the world through you. And I would love to hear from you and see how can we remove those stumbling blocks so we can actually be effective. Okay, let's talk about creating the pillar content. Again, I want to reference one of the first classes that we've done a couple months ago in the playlist. The first ones that you want to look at is reflection, the power of reflection, and content inspiration toolkit. Those are 2 lessons that really is going to help you just mine out what's inside of you. There's a lot of questions, there's worksheets, there's things that you can work through that's really going to help you to get these things out of you. The objective is to get the gold out of you, mine it out, and then process it in a way that it's a way to communicate that value to the world. All right, and so just to overview the process that we use here at Ministry Media Mastery a little bit is we'll use a process of engagement and workshop where you'll ask yourself certain questions, you'll write them down, and you'll dig. Eventually you'll get to your vision, your mission, your passion, etc., etc. And those things are going to give you a clear direction on what exactly are the themes that I'm going to talk about, that I'm going to minister on through media. And once you have those, then you're going to start breaking down those themes into topics, and you're going to become very clear about exactly what can I give to the world that's going to make a difference in their lives. All right, and then what you do is you plan out your production day, your day that you're going to shoot, and we encourage you to use video as your primary media format, because once you've done video, now you're going to take that video, and we've got a method that we teach you. Just overview real quickly. Take your videos that you created, theme lots of topics. You can have 2-3 themes. themes, that's going to give you just the width, and it's going to give you a lot of, it's going to increase the capacity of your ministry to really get out there and minister to lots of different people. And then what we do is we take your video, we just convert it to audio. Now you've got a podcast. We take the podcast, we transcribe it. Now you've got blog posts. Blog posts in a theme over time becomes it could become a workbook. It could become your book. Also, when you work around pillar content, your book will eventually be produced. You don't have to go and write it. It will write itself. Right? And then out of those come quotes, and the quote cards are there, etc., etc. And like I said, go look at 4 lessons back, quote card, the masterclass on quote cards, on podcasts, and on live video. Those are really 3 easy ways that you can do that. And I've got a success story of how this pillar content can really build your ministry, right? Besides my own ministry that is really taking off, and just the reason why that's happening is because I'm eating my own dog food. It's a tongue-in-cheek expression that's used by one of my mentors, but I'm doing exactly what I'm teaching you. I have a masterclass Tuesday, Mondays, and Wednesdays, and because I don't really have a fancy studio right now, I'm using what I have. The scriptures say, be faithful with the little, and you'll be master over much. You'll be placed a master over much. God wants you to use what you have while you have it, make the most of that, and that's what I'm doing. And so Mondays I have a leadership masterclass. Wednesday I have a ministry media masterclass, which is this one. And then what I do is I'm going to get to pillar content now. Those are my pillar content that's going out weekly. Right? It's not just content, it's consistency. It's every week, the same time, same place, same content that goes out around a certain topic, right? And what has that gotten me? It's gotten me bookings overseas. It's gotten me workshops that I produce. It fills up my my cohorts. And for any ministry, whatever your call to action or what your conversion is, what is your ROI? What is the thing that you eventually want? Do you want soul saved? Do you want to book your events? Do you want to get people into your church? Whatever that is, you can have that. And that's going to happen through the pillar content. Right, let's talk about filler content. For me, filler content is all the spaces in between. The filler content is kind of like etching out the lines of the picture. It makes the picture very clear. You know exactly what it is. But filler content now comes and it colors in the picture. It gives it a little bit more detail. It makes the picture clearer. It makes it more expressive, right? And so my pillar content, I've already explained what my pillar content is, right? And that is my Monday masterclass on leadership and my Wednesday masterclass on media, right? What is my filler content? My filler content is filling in the spaces in between, right? And they have 2 elements. They have value and they have promo elements, right? And let's just pause there. Do you have any questions yet? Go and post them in the comments. I'd love to feedback. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what I said. Even if you disagree with me or if something's not clear, I'd love to explain it. But I would love for you to just give me feedback. Tell me what you think so far. Filler content is then the following. I'll explain it from my own life, right? I've got my pillar content, my leadership masterclass going out on Mondays, and my media masterclass going out on Wednesdays. What happens in between? This is my filler content, right? So if I have videos, I have a platform, write this down, called Opus. I'm not sure exactly what the extension is. I'm going to give it to you now. Opus.pro. Now, what I do there is you get 10 minutes of videos that you can process, right? So one of the things I do is I go to opus.pro and I upload or give them a link of one of my videos. I can't do it with these classes because the dimensions are a little bit different. But I put one of my videos that I created, my pillar videos, remember, theme, topics, 12 of them at least. I have 3 months worth of content. So I'll load my link up there And what it does is it creates shorts of all my videos. And I'll take one video and maybe I'll get 3 good shorts out of that. I go and export that and I upload it onto my platforms. I can use that on YouTube Shorts, for YouTube Shorts, on Facebook Reels, and I also can use it on Instagram Reels. Right. So that's my filler content. I take my classes and I take the quotes out of the classes. Obviously, in my career, I have created thousands of quote cards already, right? And so I can literally just go back. What's nice about content and creating pillar content, timeless pieces of content, is I could be on a cycle. I could create, let's say you do really well and you create content for a whole year, right? And you start in January. January, the first week, you post your first quote card. And you carry on, and here by April, you've now at least done, let's say, 20 pieces of content, 20 quotes that's posted. I cannot explain to you how powerful and how effective quote cards are in getting you credibility and visibility, credibility, and influence, building your influence. I have filled classes with my quote cards. I have converted, I've signed clients through quote cards. They are really, really powerful. So what happens is you could have a 12-week cycle where you create content, and after 12 weeks, then what happens? Ideally, this. You create content for a year. And that's going to take you about 3 days in my experience. Create content for a year, and after a year, you posted a quote card, just one a week. Ideally, you want to post 5 a week, one a day. That's also still not enough. You can increase your capacity over time. But let's say you do one a week, right? So after a year, you've posted 52 quote cards. Now, what you can do is you can go back to the first year, and in year 2 of your content, of your media platform, in year 2, you can go and post that same quote card that you posted week 1 in the previous year. You can post it again this year. Why would it be fresh? It's going to be fresh because your community has grown. Your community and your audience is in a different cycle, because there's certain things that throws the cycle out, the attention cycle, and that is any holiday throws it out. Christmas is going to throw it out. Easter is going to throw it out. Public holidays is going to throw it out, because it's going to do this with your audience. And so the audience in the first week of last year is going to be a different audience in the first week in this year. And so that's why you can go and recycle your content if you want to. I like to keep it fresh. Sometimes I like to redesign stuff that I've done, but that's a way that you can do it. And that is filler content. So filler content is shorts, they are quote cards, they are just posts. You might have noticed on my platform, I build up my classes by doing a countdown. So I'll do 4 days to go, 3 days to go, 2 days to go. And I don't just do the promos. I also do quote cards, quotes that builds up the topic that I'm going to, right? And you can do the same. You can do the same with your church. Let's say this weekend, you're talking about the woman with the issue of blood, right? Every day you can do something creative and post it. It could even be text, right? And you can be creative and ask God just to do that with you. That's the definition of filler content. It colors in the lines of the structure that you've already created. The characteristics of filler content is they are literally going to fill in the spaces in between your main pieces of content, which is your filler content. Right. Filler content may temporarily boost. This is very important that you hear this. Filler content may temporarily boost your content volume, but it lacks substance and engagement. So what's going to happen is you got to remember, don't do your filler content and not your pillars. Do rather do your pillars and later do your fillers as you increase your capacity for your ministry. Okay. And then let's talk about examples of filler content. I think I've given some to you. So I do my countdown posts. I do quotes. Sometimes I do something topical. I often also share third-party content. So if there's a ministry or a place or a source which of the content that I like, that I consume myself, that I might draw from, I might also share that on my platforms. But be very careful, because that content is going to be something that you are endorsing. As soon as you share something, remember, you're giving it your stamp of approval. So you're going to make sure that it's sound and that it's credible. Okay. So other thing that I do is I have fun and I post memes. So I will just go to super meme. Let me get you the address quickly. The address is app.supermeme.ai. So you can literally just put a topic in there. It'll give you like 8 to 12 memes. You can go and download your favorite one, and it's just a fun way to look at a topic and poke fun at it. Okay. So filler content in terms of writing material. Let's talk about pillar content. Writing material is going to be white paper articles. It's going to be articles that eventually becomes a book or a thesis or something that you're going to publish. You're really serious about this stuff. So filler content in terms of writing is going to be short blog posts where it's just ideas or it's thoughts or something provocative that you get it. But yeah, so I wouldn't devaluate pillar content. I would actually say that pillar content and filler content are equally important, right? But we're going to talk about the balance between that. I want to just talk about quality, right? It's very important that the quality of your filler content is the same level as your pillar content. The quality of the content has to be the same. There can't be spelling mistakes on your filler content, or you do it looks like you half efforted your filler content, but your pillar content is great. It's going to devalue the entire picture. Make sure that your value and the quality of both is equal. Okay, it's very important that they are the same. Sarah Williams is a marketing guru. She says quality content is a long-term investment that pays dividends, and that's very true. So how do I find a balance between the two? This is how you're going to use the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. 20% of your content is going to be filler content. It's going to be pillar content. It's going to be the content that sets the stage for the performance, remember? But your filler content is going to be 80% of your content, right? And it's basically going to color in the picture for you, give a little bit of detail, expand, those kind of things. But Pareto principle applies to your pillar versus filler content. So 20% of your content is going to be pillar content. But flip that Pareto principle into the effort that goes into it. So even though you're only 20% of your content is going to be pillar content, you need to put 80% of your effort into the pillar content and 20% into the filler content. Quality, excellence stays the same, but the amount of effort, research, etc., that goes into each piece, 80% is going to go into your filler content. Okay, so that's very, very important. How do I measure the effectiveness of my content? Obviously, your pillar content is going to become, it's going to develop a life of its own. Okay, so your pillar content is going to become, like I said, what you're famous for. It's going to be your reference guide. If you if you are doing a guest sermon at a place, or you're doing a talk at an event as a keynote, your reference is going to be your pillar. So it's going to be a book, or it's going to be a website where people can find more information, right? And so the metrics for pillar content is going to be substantial relationship metrics. So those are going to be, like for me, you are part of my Telegram community, right? You're an actual client of mine, which means that we are engaging in an actual process of development and education. So there's different levels, correct? So the metric there is going to be, for me, what metrics do I look at? I look at how many people actually watched this class, right? So I do, every week, I do a report and I go and look at all the videos. The videos that didn't do very well, I go and ask the question, why didn't they do well? Didn't I promote it enough? Didn't I have a good thumbnail for it? Was my title maybe not provoking enough? Thought provoking enough? Yeah, so views are going to be very important. I look at my Telegram community. Currently, there's 76. Do I think I feel that I would like to have 1,000 ministries in there? Currently, there's 76. I am really promoting on it very hard. I think I've exhausted my phone contacts. Next step is LinkedIn. So that's a very important metric for me. Then how many people actually watch this class? That's an important metric for me. And then the most important metric is probably how many people actually go and register for the next cohort where we do the challenge, right? Your filler content, really easy. What you're looking for is comments. So I have, if I haven't taught this yet, write this down. You want to write down 3 things. When you update any, when you update or post anything, you want to have 3 things. Right? You want to have, let's say, your quote card. Your quote card's going to have the quote written out. You're going to give your opinion or thought on it, and you're going to ask a question. Those 3 things is going to give you the following, and that's what I want you to look at, metrics that you want to measure. How many times has it been shared? Because sharing it on people's platforms is, like I said, a vote of confidence. It's a stamp of approval. It is an endorsement. And then comments, that's where your community aspect comes into, and that's what you want. Is you want those 2 metrics, and those are the metrics for filler content that I'm looking at. I'm not looking at likes. I don't think they really mean anything for me. What matters for me is comments, and obviously having it been shared. All right, and so I don't think you have to go too deep into metrics and analytics. I think for me, my next step is probably, okay, let's see how many people viewed the video. And then I want to see up to where did people watch the video, right? And then I want to go and see why did I have drop-offs, etc. We know on YouTube, people look at watch time. And so, but you know, for me, it's what the biggest metric that I think is people sending me a WhatsApp or an email or a direct message and saying, listen, today's class is really valuable. I enjoyed this. And obviously the comments that's here. So again, if you have any thoughts, share it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I've also would love to engage and answer your questions if you've got any. Let's talk about, we're getting to the end, adaptation and evolution. You've got to remember that the digital landscape changes regularly. Your, what do we call it? Your algorithms keep on changing. But I think if you keep at the core of what you do, providing value, exceeding expectations, then I think you'll win. All right, and so it doesn't matter if things keep on changing. Content formats stay the same. You have long form, you have podcast length, you have short form, then you have really, really short form. And you can do that with anything. And so I think don't neglect anything, but do more of what works. Okay. So Michael Chang says, adapt or become obsolete in the world of digital marketing. So you want to make sure that you look at what's working, do more of that, but keep on doing your filler as it's important. So let's just recap. You need to lay a foundation. Your pillars sets the stage for the performance, and the performance is the show that gets people to really respond and where the impact happens. Pillar content explained is the rough etched outline that gives you a clear framework and a picture. And then the filler content is where the details are drawn and the coloring happens. And so I want to give this opportunity for you to ask any questions if you have. I would love to hear from you. Do you have any questions on what I've talked about today? Post them in the comments below. Or I want you to, if you're on here, just tell me, what did you learn? What are you taking away from today's masterclass? And finally, if you like what you've heard today and you want to launch or improve your ministry media platform, learn the latest content creation techniques, build a media team, and increase the impact of your ministry, go and register for our Ministry Media Challenge. This carefully crafted challenge will provide you with the system, processes, and most of all, accountability structures to get your ministry media platform launched in as little as 12 weeks. It's a premium challenge. Will take you from where you are to global influence and impact. To answer those questions, do you have anything? Just want to say, give props to those that interacted. Pastor Jonathan says he's there with 3 pastors. Thank you, Shannon Lee, for joining us today. Pastor Jonathan, Pastor Cynthia, thank you for joining us. And finally, Hendrik, thank you for being here again today. We really appreciate your participation. And so just want to do a final call for any questions you may have so we can answer them. I always enjoy spending time with you. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. Yes, Pastor Cynthia asks, can I have more than one pillar? I think if you look at construction, it's wise to have more than one pillar, right? So I would encourage you to start with one pillar and say, like the explanation I gave earlier. I said, listen, here are my 4 pillars. They are media, they are leadership, they are team building, and they are psychology or mindfulness, if you will. And so those are things that I believe I can really talk about, and I create content around that quite a bit. But I would encourage you, you can take the playlist that we've created, all the classes we've done so far, and start at the beginning and take action. If you want to shortcut it and just get started, I would still encourage you to do the reflection lesson and then jump to quote cards, podcasts, and live video. And I would out of my reflection exercise, I would go and create one theme that I can speak on and create some consistency. So like this class, I would do one of these lives once per week. I would promote it to whoever would be part of it and listen, and I would start with that. That's actually what I did. I did the Ministry Media Masterclasses I started with, and I think I started in May. And I did them, and I had consistency on that. And later on, I decided, hey, I want to also build my leadership portion of my ministry. I want to also get more impact and visibility from that. And so I started the same thing that I did do here. I started also a Telegram group. I invite people to it. People join it, and I have a masterclass. So that's my second pillar that I'm doing on Tuesdays. And obviously, as I explained, I have the filler content around that. So absolutely, start with one pillar, right? But you can have more than that. In fact, I encourage that you grow into doing more than one pillar. Thank you for that question, Pastor Cynthia. If there's any other questions, I would love to answer them for you. I want to thank you again for joining me today. Today was fun. And, let me just talk about, I've done classes in different ways on this master class. I've done them super prepared, where I've gone and expounded on every single thought and note that I had and researched and expanded on them. And like, for instance, if you remember the one on Let me just go and see which topic was that I did that. I really went deep when I did digital storytelling. I really did deep, and I went. I created notes, and I did sub notes and subheadings, and there was a lot of stuff there. And so I did that, and a lot of that was following notes very clearly. Today I just had highlights, and I really enjoyed doing today's class that way. So I thank you so much for being here and for watching. It really makes it worth it, even if there's just one person. I'm doing it for you. Thank you so much for watching. I want to just make sure everybody had their questions in. Otherwise, I want to thank you for joining today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week.